One of my favorite brands, talk about them all the time. Their eyeshadows, perfect, incredible. Like, give me more. Hi, you guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I'm so excited for this video. We are talking about my April Clean Beauty favorites, and I cannot believe that we are already here. How did this happen? How did this happen to us? I say that at the beginning or end of every month, like I don't know how we got here, but I really feel like I blinked and April was gone, which is truly stressful. I just feel like I'm blinking and time is going, and May is here, which means my birthday's here, which I'm not a big fan of my birthday, like ever. I don't know why my birthday stresses me out, but it just does every single year. But I digress. I'm excited to get into this April Clean Beauty favorites. I feel like I have a bunch of good new stuff for you guys to talk about today, and I'm so freaking excited. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into my April Clean Beauty favorites. So first things first. I've been grabbing this a ton this month. So this is the Well People Bio Tint SPF 30. And the shade I wear in this is the shade 8N. I'm actually wearing it on my face today. It is just such a pretty tinted moisturizer. It just like melts into the skin. It like gives me the amount of coverage I want without it being, like, it's a very good no makeup product, because it honestly, the way it melts into the skin, it's almost like, are you even wearing anything? I'm unbelievably impressed with this, and I really enjoy just like the wear throughout the day. It doesn't like patch off kind of funky. It wears off really nicely, and by the end of the day when I'm washing my face, it's still on, which I love. It plays well with other products. I mean, I did a whole review on this, so I won't like get too crazy, but this is a really good product and I'm a huge fan, and I've been grabbing it a ton because lately I've been in the vibe of super dewy, glass-like, really like young looking skin, or a very minimalistic approach to my skin, just because I don't know about you guys, but I have been, the second that the seasons change, every single freaking year, I start to get a lot of breakouts. And it's just like a part of life. It happens all the time. And especially with the wind being as crazy as it has been, like it's been unbelievably windy here. I feel like my skin has been really unhappy because I take my dog out all the time. So I'm always outside walking and my skin is just like unhappy. So this has been really good and I'm a huge fan. Okay, next I've been loving this month. I've been grabbing this concealer the most. I've been grabbing a ton of concealers, but I have been grabbing this the most this month. This is also the Well People, what is this, the BioCorrect concealer, and I wear the shade 11N. This is like a good tone for me for like a more very like natural looking under eye that isn't highlighted. If I wanted a more highlighted under eye, I would go for the shade 9N, but this is really nice. You just apply it to the back of your hand, and I can use my fingers, a brush, and it is just so gorgeous. It like is super hydrating, which is good because again, it's been super windy and my under eyes have been parched, you guys, dehydrated, thirsty, like just not the vibe right now. And this has been really good because it is super hydrating. It just melts into the skin. These are really good. Super impressed with Well People. I'm going to continue to talk about them more and more on this channel because I feel like I got to talk about them more because I love their products, and for whatever reason I haven't talked about them a ton, so more's coming. Okay, next. Oh, let's talk about this. So, I mean, I talk about this all the time. If you're new here, hi, my name is Madan, and I'm obsessed with the Merit Beauty Foundation Concealer Stick for pinpointing around my face and covering any hyperpigmentation. I don't go crazy. You can get like a lot of coverage out of this, but I kind of just dab it and kind of tone it down. But you can get like a lot of coverage. And if I need, like I'm going on a night out and I really want full coverage on my hyperpigmentation marks, this does a great job. It just melts into the skin. It's super good. And the shade I wear in this for all over the face and for like a very natural highlight, natural concealer under the eyes is the shade Buff. If I want something a little bit more highlighting under the eyes, I go for the shade Sand, I believe. I'll link everything down below. Huge fan of this. Okay, next let's move on to blushes because I have a bunch of blushes, but I've been wearing my blush a certain way this month and I've been loving it. So let's get into it. First, Tower 28 Beach Please blush in the shade Magic Hour. This is just such a gorgeous pinky tone. I've been loving really pink blushes lately, and this is just a very neutrally tone, but it just melts into the skin. I'm actually wearing this with a powder blush on top, and I'm just loving it. I'm going for a very naturally like pinched cheek today. I have like a lot of stuff that I have to do and have to leave the house. I want it to be very natural looking and very, I don't know, just melt into the skin. I'm also wearing the Well People tinted moisturizer on my face today. Huge fan. Okay, next. Let's move on to this. This is the Ilia Multi-Stick, and this is in the shade Ladybird, and I'm just like obsessed with this blush. It just melts into the skin and gives you the most natural flush without it being like too natural. Like it gives you something, and you can kind of wear super sheer and just have it be very like a very sheer wash of color, but then you can also build it up. And all the kind of blushes I'm talking about today give me that kind of ability to be versatile, which I love, which is why I've been grabbing them a ton, because sometimes I want to be super super blushy, and then some days like today I don't want to be quite as blushy. I want to kind of, especially if I'm wearing like a color like this, I don't want it to be too pink on my cheeks because it's just not my vibe. When I'm wearing a more like a green or something like that, I want it to be a subtle flush but still a flush, if that makes sense. Huge fan. Okay, next. Ooh, these. Been loving these two specifically. So I have all the Say Beauty blushes, obsessed with them, as you know, but I have the shade Chili here, which is one of their newest shades. I also have their other new shade. I think it's called Spicy. That one's gorgeous. And then also, this is my obsession of their first launch, is the shade Rosy, and they're just so good. So the shade Rosy is similar to the Tower 28 in the shade Magic Hour, but a little bit more peachy in tone. And the shade Chili is just like a very cool tone pink, and it's just gorgeous. So I like to apply them to the back of my hand and then take a brush, and so you can see here, Chili and then Rosy. These are great. You just apply it with a sponge or a brush or even your fingers. It kind of depends. I prefer a brush with cream blushes, but these are so good. Huge fan. So then I've been applying powder blush on top of my creams and my liquids, and I've been applying two specifically. So, I mean, no one's shocked by this. The Persona Cosmetics Super Blush in the shade Bubble. Just look at that freaking just most gorgeous shade ever. And although it looks scary, it isn't actually that scary. It's just like a really pretty blush that is like perfect for spring and summer. Just like obsession of life. It's so good, and it just melts into the skin and it wears super long. And then I have also been grabbing this one, which is a newer one for me. This is the Bare Minerals what is this, blush and bronzer duo kind of thing, and it's the shade Kiss of Pink. I think this is the lightest of all the shades, and this is just so gorgeous. I'm actually wearing this on top of the shade Magic Hour from Tower 28 today, and this is just gorgeous. It has a very similar tone to the Tower 28 blush, and it just melts into the skin. It has a slight sheen to it. It's just so pretty. I'm really impressed with this blush. I might grab another shade because I really enjoy this, but like, so pretty. I feel like it gives me like the most gorgeous flush to the cheeks, and it has a little bit of sheen, so it gives you a little bit of dimension. Huge fan. These are both really good blushes, specifically these shades, but like the formulas of these are really nice. Highly recommend checking them out. In this in the Persona Cosmetics, I also have the shade Caramel, and it is just like a more mauve tone, but it is so pretty. I love that, and I wore that a ton in fall. Huge fan. I'll start grabbing that more, but like, I'm obsessed with it. Okay, next let's move on to bronzers. So I've been grabbing 3 bronzers a ton this month, and I feel like they might surprise you. Actually, no, maybe if you watch my favorites last month, they won't surprise you, but one of them will surprise you. So first things first, we have the Milk Makeup Bronzer. This is their Bionic Bronzer, and this is in the shade Shapeshift, and I love this bronzer. So I will just apply it to the back of my hand, and then take a beauty sponge and apply it to my cheeks that way. And it is just the most gorgeous shade. It also just melts into the skin, and although it is pigmented, like when you apply it, it doesn't apply super pigmented, so you can layer it. But also, if you want something that's super subtle and you just want it to be like a kiss of something, you can do that with this, and it's really nice. And I have been just loving grabbing this. I've also been loving grabbing this, which I feel like won't surprise anyone either. This is the Persona Cosmetics bronzer, and this is in the shade Sahara. The Persona Cosmetics bronzer multi-stick in the shade Sahara, and this is also just the most gorgeous shade. They have very similar tones, and they just like melt into the skin. The Persona Cosmetics one specifically, just like, if I had to pick between the two, I would go Persona Cosmetics. just because it's just the most gorgeous formula, and it has like the right amount of dew, but it also sets really well if you set it with powder. It also layers well with other products. Not that the Milk Makeup one doesn't, but I noticed that when I apply the Milk Makeup one, I just have to work a little bit quicker if I'm layering a bunch of times, just so that I don't pick up too much product underneath. Whereas this one, it's kind of easier to use, but huge fan of both of these. They're so good. And then I've been using a new, not new, but like new for my powder bronzer, the Kosas bronzer, which I've talked about on this channel before, in the shade medium, which I'm like shocked by this because like normally I grab I mean, you know, if you don't know, hi, my name is Manon and I'm obsessed with the Ilia bronzer in the shade, oh my gosh, what is it? I can't remember the shade name right now. I'm going to link everything I mentioned down below, but I've been grabbing this a ton this month and I'm just so obsessed with it, and it layers so beautifully. This is such a good like spring summer bronzer. It has a little bit of shimmer, but it's not like super glittery, but it definitely has like shimmer particles in it. So if you're not a fan of shimmer, then I definitely recommend either the Ilia bronzer, which is really good, the Victoria Beckham bronzer brick, which is really good, and then also the LYS Beauty bronzer if you want like a matte bronzer. But this is gorgeous and it just melts into the skin. So I'm actually wearing this on top of the Milk Makeup Bionic bronzer today, and like love it, love the combo, so good. Okay, next let's move on to lips. No, actually, let's do highlighter first. This I've talked about a million times. Like, I'm obsessed with this highlighter. I'm actually wearing it on my cheeks today, and it is just so gorgeous. It looks beautiful in person and on camera, and I feel like for highlighter in general, that tends to be rare. This is a really nice one. So this is the Minori highlighter, and I have the shade Champagne in this, and this is just like gorgeous. I apply it with my finger and just like tap it on, and I'm just glowing I'm a glowing goddess. I'm a glowing goddess, you guys, and I love it. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. And I actually got a couple new highlighters, so I'm testing those out right now, but this is just so good. Okay, next let's move on to lips now. Okay, so I have a bunch of lip products this month. I actually I was thinking about it and I was like, whoa, I've been grabbing a ton of lip products this month and going for like either a really more pinky tone lip or a very neutral tone lip, and I've been loving it. So first things first, I've been grabbing these a ton. So I have two shades of this. This is the Merit Beauty lipstick, and I have the shade L'Avenue, and then I also have the shade Slip, which is a more neutral tone. Let me swatch these for you just so that you can see. So this is the shade Slip, which is very up my alley, like so up my street in terms of lipsticks. And these are very hydrating. They aren't super, super pigmented, but they pack a punch. I mean, you can definitely get like a good amount of pigment out of these. I had L'Avenue first and fell in love, and then I got the shade Slip because like she's so cute and obsessed. So these are the two shades here. On this side here, you can see L'Avenue, and then the shade Slip. Slip is a very light nude color for me, but it is exactly the vibe that I like with my neutrally lip tones. I like a little bit of a lighter nude, and then I generally tend to layer them on top of brown lip liners, especially in spring, summer. I just love that like very nude looking lip. Or I like something that's more on the pinky side, but I like to take L'Avenue, which is the berry tone, and just like press that one out and give myself a very pillowy looking lip if I go for something that has more color right now. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of these. Okay, next let's talk, we have another lipstick. She's back, you guys. My obsession of life, my favorite nude tone, like light beigey nude tone lipstick is this shade from Kosas. This is the shade Vegas. It is gorgeous. So it is just, let's see, it's right here. It's the one I just swatched. This is the lipstick I wore on my wedding day. It's just gorgeous. I wore it with a brown tone lip liner, and it just is gorgeous. It's just so, so good. I love it. And with the brown lip liner, it just looks so gorgeous. I love to make my own custom colors, mixing a lipstick with a lip liner. And this is just so, so good. Okay, next let's talk glosses. So I have two glosses that I've been grabbing a ton. I don't think anyone's surprised by these either. This is the Ami Collet lip oil, and they only have one shade, and I'm obsessed with this. It's just so freaking good. So hydrating, so good. And then also the Tower 28 lip gloss. This is the shade Almond from Tower 28, and I'm a huge fan of this. I also have their clear, the shade Almond on this side, and then the Ami Collet lip oil on this side, and they're both super glossy, super hydrating. and just so pretty. I'm actually wearing the Ami Collet on top of lip liner today. Maybe add a little bit more. So good. And then next, Victoria Beckham lip liner. No one's surprised by this one at all, but you might be surprised by the shade color. I have been grabbing the shade 02 in the Victoria Beckham lip liner a ton, and it has just been my favorite. So I'm actually wearing 02 on my lips, and then I'm wearing it layered with the Ami Collet, and I'm loving the combo. 02 is just the most gorgeous shade. It is a very good nude, like a lighter pinky nude on me, but it isn't super, I don't know, it is very neutral, which I love. It's like a neutral pinky nude on me. I also, if I want something that packs more of a punch and there's more of a truer, like darker, but also a little bit more of a truer pinky brown, I go for the shade 04, which you know, actually, again, if you're new, you might not know this, but I am obsessed with the shade 04. That is like my go-to, especially going out lip shade. Just so gorgeous. I love the Victoria Beckham lip liners. They're just so good, and their shades are really, really pretty, and I feel like they're just, they have so many good ones. I have the shade 02, 04, 05, and then I also have the shade, the red shade. Obsessed. Like, so good. I hope they come out with more shades because I love. Okay, next we have this. So this is the Fresh Sugar Smoothing Lip Primer. I apply this in the morning and at night, and it just it exfoliates my lips, and it helps with the dryness, but it also helps with, even if my lips are dry, like how, like the flakiness of it, I guess. Really good. I'm obsessed with this, and a little bit of this goes a long way. Like this is a small container, but like you need ever so slight, a little bit, and you just apply it, let it kind of sink in, and then go on with your day. It's really, really good. I'm a big fan. Okay, next, let's move on to eyes. Okay, so first things first, eyeliners. Let's do that. So I have been obsessing with two eyeliners lately. The Victoria Beckham eyeliners. I have the shade Black and Brown, and then the Cali Ray Beauty eyeliners in the shade Black and Brown. And I'm actually on my eyes, just did the cutest flick. Like, look at that. I mean, look at that wing, you guys. It's just so cute. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I did a great job. These are great. So I'm actually wearing the shade Black from Victoria Beckham today, and it is just, I love a creamy eyeliner, and it just like makes it so easy for me to wing it out. And maybe I should do like a video on how I do like a really simple little like flick like this, because I haven't really done like a full video on how I do a flick. I've done one where I've done like my very small teeny tiny flick just to give me a little something, but if you're interested in that, let me know. But these are really, really good, and loving. And the way that I've been using these is I will do primer, which I'm going to talk about next, do a primer, set the primer with powder, then do the wing really quick and easy. The way I do my wing is so easy. I don't use tape, or I don't use anything like that to get this effect. I just like, it is so simple and so easy. And then I will set the top of it with a translucent powder, so it doesn't change the shade or anything like that, and then it lasts all freaking day. Like the other, actually, you know what, yesterday, I did have the same eyeliner yesterday, and I got into the shower and I had set it with powder and all of that. My eyeliner didn't run in the shower. Like I wasn't like washing my face or anything in the shower, and I was just in there, hot water. Like I want my skin to burn off my body. Okay, I want it to be that hot. It was so like steamy in there. My eyeliner didn't run at all. It literally stayed in place, and I was like, wait, how is this possible? Maybe I'll do a video on that, but huge fan of these. So good. Okay, next, let's talk about primer. I've been grabbing this primer a ton. So this is the PYT primer, and you know how I feel about PYT. One of my favorite brands, talk about them all the time. Their eyeshadows, perfect, incredible. Like, give me more. Obsessed. But this is so good. So this is the PYT, what is this called? Does it have a specific name? Baby Got Base Eye Primer. So good. So this has like a tone to it, like a beigey kind of tone, but when you blend it out, it blends out to nothing on me. Like I don't have any white cast, and then I set it with powder, and it's just so good. It makes my eyeshadow last super long. It makes, especially now where we got runny eyes right now, you guys, because you know what? Allergies has been kicking me hard, kicking me in the face, and I've not been happy with it. This has been really, really good at like keeping everything in place, and making sure that even if my eyes are super runny, my eyeliner is kind of in place, everything kind of stays where it is. It's really good. And I've also used this under my eyes, under a concealer if I feel like I need it, or if I'm going to be doing like a really smoky eye under my eyes and I want a little bit more control over how the product is, like the whatever I'm using to smoke my eye out. I want like control over how it's going to kind of fade, but also how runny it's going to get. Because, you know, if it's super hot outside or your eyes are runny, it could kind of become a disaster. This has been life-changing. So good. All right, next we have this mascara. This is the Milk Makeup Rise Mascara. I've also been using the Jones Road Beauty Mascara a ton this month, but I've been grabbing this more than that one, and I'm a huge fan of this. I'm currently testing the Milk Makeup Kush Mascara. I'm going to do like a compare and contrast between the two. But this has been great. I've been really enjoying this mascara. It's just so good. You just have to make sure you clean off the wand a little bit, because sometimes I feel like it gets a little flaky, but if I just kind of take the precaution to clean off the wand, then I'm really happy with this. It's really good, and it makes my lashes just look so fluttery and pretty, and just obsessed. Okay, next. No one's surprised. I know you're not surprised. The Persona Cosmetics Identity 1 and Identity 2 palettes, I've just been truly diehard obsessing over. Just look at them. I mean, they're just so good. I've talked about them a ton. I did a full review, so I'm not going to get too crazy, but I'm obsessed with these. Okay, next, let's move on to skincare and hair, which is going to be really short, and then we're done with this April Clean Beauty favorites. So first things first, let's do skin first. Okay, I have been grabbing this Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Hyaluronic Clay Pore Tightening Facial a ton. And I had the mini size, and then I got the full size, and it is just so, so good. Like, holy guacamole, you guys, you need to check it out. It has like AHA in it. It helps with hyperpigmentation. It helps with acne. It helps give you a really glowy complexion. And it's like a 5-minute mask, which is what I love about it. And it isn't a clay mask, so it doesn't like do the full dry down, which I don't mind, but like sometimes I just want something to be easy peasy lemon squeeze. Easy peasy lemon squeezy and just be like super easy to remove, and this is that. It's so good, gives me a beautiful complexion. I don't know what the smell is. It's nice. It's not super strong, but it is there, so if you mind scent, then this might not be for you, but I'm obsessed with this. It's so good. Next, the Edam Dark Spot Serum. This is so good. I've talked about this before, and if you can get your hands on it at Sephora, definitely. I think they're in stock on their website too, but I'm obsessed with this. This is my 3rd bottle. And I mean, I've already used like a good amount too. I'm like halfway done, but this is so, so good. And it helps so much with hyperpigmentation. It helps it fade so much faster. And you know, like the lingering effect that you can get with hyperpigmentation where like you might get rid of most of it and then there'll still be a little bit lingering for at least 6 months. This doesn't, like, this gets rid of that. So like you still have a little bit of lingering, and then after like a month, like you're in a way better spot. And I feel like this has been so, so good for my hyperpigmentation, especially because my skin has been freaking out with the weather change, that like even when I'm like done with the acne mark, right, and the hyperpigmentation is gone, I've been getting more stuffs in like areas that like are irritated from like wearing masks or whatever the weather, and this has been really good at like getting rid of that last bit of hyperpigmentation that kind of lingers, and it helps it fade initially super quickly, and then you might have a little bit of remnants left, and then it fades. It's so good. I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed. Next we have this. I've talked about this before. This is the Ella Luz Beauty Oil, and I'm obsessed with this stuff. It's so good. I wear it under my eyes. I also wear it on top of my like face cream or whatever it is, and I just kind of pat it into your face. With how like windy it's been and how much my skin has been craving moisture, this on top of whatever it is that I'm wearing has been like face cream or whatever it is, has been so good. This is my 2nd bottle of this. I'm a huge fan, and a little bit of this goes a long way, like 2 to 3 drops for your whole face, and then I take a drop, like do like this, and then pat it under my eyes and pat it under my eyes until it has a little bit of tack to it. This is really good. I'm obsessed with this, and I highly recommend checking it out. And then last, we have this. This is my hair product. This is the JVN Complete Nourishing Shine Drops. I think I talked about this in my Sephora video where I recommended getting it, and then I finally got my full bottle in, and I'm obsessed with it. And I was obsessed with the small one I had before. I'm obsessed with this. I've been using this nonstop, and a little bit of this goes a long way. Just like a couple drops. It's like a more dry oil. It just melts into the hair. I use it on my dry hair. I'll also use it when my hair is wet. And the smell, my husband loves the smell. I don't know what it is, but it's the most gorgeous smell. It is a strong smell, but it's gorgeous. It doesn't linger like a ton, but you will smell it. It's I'm obsessed with it. It makes my hair look so pretty and so shiny. I'm obsessed with it. And yeah, that is it for my April clean beauty favorites. I would love to know down below, what were your favorites this month? What were you grabbing nonstop? Please let me know down below. Also leave any video recommendations that you want to see down below. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.